Hi, my Nacer, some of you guys know me as Siobhan, and this is Spurs video podcast, which some of you decided to be called YouShubes. I know this is not sponsored by Starbucks, but I wish you guys happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I'm going to talk to you about, because I'm doing YouShubes, and again, apologies, I haven't done this for a while, is that we've got an award on Spurs Forum called the, how do I put it? I won't use the actual word, but they're called the Tunkies. Just rearrange the letters a little bit, and give it a C. I think you can work out what that word spells. And there's an award for which goes to the least knowledgeable about football. Now, I'm pretty much in pole position, but I really want to win this award, so this is the reason why I'm doing this video. I want to win the least knowledgeable about football. I want to talk to you about a scenario. A considerable source of goals is sold for a sizable profit. That sizable profit is reinvested into multiple players. Unfortunately, things don't work out. Then there are managerial changes, and the following season, there are some signings, a little bit less fanfare, but the team seems to be progressing. Am I talking about recent events of 2013, 2014, and now to this year? Yeah. I can also be talking about 2008. Two main sources of goals then, Berbatov and Kane. We brought in, 6 players to replace them? Pavlyuchenko, Bentley, Campbell, Luka Modric came in that year, Herrera Gomez, and Giovanni Santos. And in all honesty, only one of them players ever actually went on to do very, very well. So it's very odd that, again, nearly 5 years later, they say it's every 5 year cycles, 5 year cycles, history repeats itself. And again, we sell Bale, reinvest that into at least 6 players. Obviously, other profits came from selling Huddleston and Parker. But yeah, again, we reinvest the profits from the Bale sale into players. None of them really, we don't hit the ground running, and there are managerial changes. The reason I'm talking about this is that yesterday we saw what I would consider not the best performance of the season. I mean, in terms of, it wasn't a spank. We didn't spank any team like 4-0 as we have done against QPR or say it's Newcastle. But we played a team we had to break down. This was a team that came, obviously they came for a point. I wouldn't accuse Burnley of that. Burnley are a good side. They're in the Premier League and they've shown improvement. But they're a side that, they do keep compact, they keep a good shape, they've good character, they will very much work hard for each other, and they show passion and desire. I don't think you can say QPR showed that much desire when we played them, and Newcastle, I know he thumped them 4-0, but having their goalkeeper help us out by doing doing a Gomez kind of really helps us a little bit. Obviously, we're 1-0 up, and if Newcastle took any of their chances, it would be a different story. Obviously, when I got the second goal, that changed things. But I think the Burnley game I think we've shown really good improvement because we've had troubles with these teams. Funny enough, it's pretty strange. The first team to be called bus parkers were us by Jose Mourinho almost 10 years ago now. I think it was just over 10 years ago. And again, you could say that we are, playing against teams that do park the bus. They're looking to get a point. Burnley showed character and grit. I mean, that was a superb goal by Ashley Barnes. I mean, Hugo Lloris is probably one of our best players, and if we can keep him, we'll probably go on to be one of our greatest ever goalkeepers. I mean, probably up there with Pat Jennings. Hopefully he'll start his kicking, but he's definitely up there with one. He can stop that. I don't think Manuel Neuer can stop that. But that ball was destined to hit the roof of the net. You could have put Spider-Man in that goal. He wouldn't have stopped it. But we rebounded. Aaron Lamela hit a very good whip shot in, and it was interesting because one of the things that I don't remember Kyle Walker being on that flank. So is it the defender making an error because maybe he thought Kyle Walker was going to come up, so he didn't close down Lamela. Lamela isn't, although he's done this for Roma, hasn't really done this for Spurs. He had a shot earlier against Burnley, goalkeeper saved it, but this time, his sights are much better. It's a beautiful goal, absolutely curled it on his left foot, and it's a real improvement. I mean, he took on the play. Now you can say, oh, it's only Burnley. Well, it was only Stoke, it was only Crystal Palace, it was only West Brom who were near the bottom of the table. We were showing an inspired performance. Now, it's not just Lamella. There's other improvements. Obviously, we've seen, Ben Tiller come back into the team. He did have a great game yesterday. Mason's in the team now as well. Christian Eriksen's playing more in the middle. There have been some differences. Carl Walker came back in yesterday, which again helped. Obviously, would have knackered the crap out of that left back. So definitely there have been changes. But Lamella, it was interesting. He took there was another really good opportunity he actually created for Kane. Is he the push cycle or no? Because he's still very much one-footed. Still wants to use everything on his left foot. It's not unusual. One of our very good players we had, certain Mr. Van der Vaart, extremely left-footed. But if we can start even trying to play, a shot with his right, just even a sort of swing that's the byline. If he hit it with his right foot, maybe Kane would have got to it a bit better, maybe a slightly better contact, And I thought we had chances. I mean, Kane and Eriksen played well together. They created a couple of chances for each other. Either of those go in, it's 3-1, and the squad has got healthier. I think Burnley did give us problems, and Danny Ings, the person I'll speak about a bit later. But and I think he worked Bazia very well. But definitely, I'm not saying this is our season's changed, but people are pointing towards the Everton performance. Now, Everton are a great side. I think a much better side, and probably can hurt us a lot more than say Burnley could. But the thing about Everton is that Roberto Martinez, his way is to play an open style. He doesn't like to park the bus. He will attack. He could be playing Real Madrid. He will attack. That's the way he likes to play. And credit to him. Not always the brightest idea, but that's the way he likes to play. So and again, that's why I thought the Burnley game. I think if we can show that and show that, because it's not. I don't think it was lucky. And like I said, Swansea. I don't say Swansea was lucky. I just think we took our chances. We were a bit more clinical with our chances. Swansea. I mean, Burnley had a couple of very good chances. It wasn't quite able to take them. And we've been linked with Bonnie. He worked this line very, very well. But chances are they want like 20 million for him. Player, I wouldn't mind seeing a sign, but not in January. And here's the other thing: I don't think we should make any massive signings in January if we can avoid it. I just think let's keep. Pochettino is still figuring out his best team. Even though he's had 6 months, it will take you. Pre-season. No one's really playing. Everyone's looking to get their fitness back. The detail of the season, I think in the business end of the season, it's February, March, April, when things can change. You pretty much are writing your destiny for that season. You're writing what the season will be for you. Really, that's when you play your knockout games, those vital league games that decide where you'll be going. And that's when injury fatigue as the season, it turns to people start, people creaking. They're playing, football's incredible. I mean, you're basically doing 13, 14 kilometres worth of sprints. Sometimes with or without the ball. I mean, it's physically so demanding. So it's so obviously yes, when you get injuries, and that's when the champions will emerge. The strongest will emerge, and they'll go on to win their titles. So here's the thing: I wouldn't sign anyone in January. I just don't think I don't think the talent is out there, and B, I think you might disrupt. I think if you have a settled team, I'd actually move people on in January. I think I'd move some players on, and I'll go on to that in a bit. Who I think we should move on, but I don't think I wouldn't buy anyone in January. I'd maybe look to trim the squad a little bit, so then that he gets a better idea. And those players who are going to be there, I'm not saying that their value will fall. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying that the value was. We're not. I mean, some start saying Paulinho, who I think we should move on in January. We paid 70 million for him. We're not going to pay 70 million for him again. But I think we could get 12 million. So over 2 years, it's like a £5 million loan. It's not brilliant, but it happens. We'll reduce the loss per se, and that's natural in trading. Not everything you buy will appreciate in value. And there are players I would move on in June definitely. If you think, well, do you know what? I don't think they're going to take the team forward. I think I need to move these players on. Then that'll be the time. I wouldn't move anyone in January, unless you think, these are players. Unless you think I need to move these players on. They're not. I don't think they're going to feature in my squad. And more important, I need to protect their value. So the players I would move on in January are going to. I think Paulinho. I think Ryan Mason has come along and shown a lot of improvement. Obviously he's injured. He's had a history of injuries, but I think Pochettino clearly likes him. He will break up play, and I think he's doing what Paulinho should be doing, but for some reason isn't. For whatever reason, Paulinho hasn't shown that, and obviously can't send him back to Brazil or whatever. But I'd send him out on loan. I actually would send him out on loan to a Premiership club. He's obviously settled in London. He's settled in the UK. His children are here, so I would if he could send him to a Premier League club. That basically will impact our rivals for other positions because he can't play against us, and it gives him time. And who knows, maybe 6 months down the line, he could come back a player reborn. He plays him week in, week out, and he just gets that rhythm. And I think some players do get rhythm. I'll give you an example. I did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I was running some guys who were pretty much kicking my ass. And, then, I don't know, I was really struggling. And then, after a while, I started to build up a rhythm, and, I'm not saying I'm dominating them, but I was doing a lot better. Maybe they were letting me, I don't know, but I was doing a lot better. And I think the thing about anything, some players need to do it. Some players can just come in and just come to hit the ground running. They spend months out. But I think football's a game of rhythm. You're playing with 11 people against 11 people trying to stop you playing. You need to about that rhythm. And I think if he gets played week in, week out, he makes sure he better show his talent. And I think he goes somewhere like Palace or even QPR. And, obviously we have to subsidise his wages a little bit, but I'd rather subsidise his wages and he does damage to other teams around us and protects his value. The other player I'd move on would be Capoue. Capoue's an odd one. I mean, we saw against Crystal Palace, 5 interceptions, but I don't know. He played centre back because he thought, he played centre half for France, didn't do well, but under Sherwood, no one was doing well. And I don't know, for some reason, he does seem a bit slow. When I saw him, his reading game wasn't great. He was slow. Again, if you're not playing, your match sharpness isn't there. So who knows? We play. Again, we let them out alone. Obviously, Palace, QPR. Those are the teams I'm thinking of. Obviously, because they're in London, it's not a huge shift for him. And again, just see how it goes. And if he does well, we check his value. He comes back to us reinvigorated. If he doesn't, if he decides he's not part of the plans, at least we protected his value a little bit. So those are the 2 players. I keep Dembele. I think it's an odd one, Dembele. He's got the ability, I think. I think he's probably going to be a little bit more effective than Paulinho will be. He's definitely a little bit better. I mean, he's obviously not a classical defender like, say, Capoue is, and he won't read the game, but he'll make interceptions, he'll get his foot in. And I think he's a good body around, good squad body to have around. Vlad. Oh God, Vlad. I don't know if he reminds me of it. You just think there's a mistake in there going to happen. He's a good player. He's good on the ball. He's kind of like a Rio Ferdinand light. Again, if you can't sell him outright to someone like Roma or Juventus, send him out on loan to another club. I think getting games in, week out. He had injuries last year. Who knows? Again, but those are the 3 players. The reason I'm saying, other than out of the 4, out of the minister we signed, obviously Ericsson, I don't think no one's moving him on. Chadli has shown some promise a little bit, definitely, but good cross for Kane's goal. And definitely, he's definitely got potential there. I do think he can play up front at some point, but he's a lot quicker than I give him credit for. He's a big, powerful guy, and I'm sure my friend Debs will go nuts if we sold him. He's probably. I'm sorry, look at that. The man is clearly, we haven't had a player that handsome at our club since the days of, Nico Cranshaw, and that was it. That was the last good-looking guy we had. So for the ladies, we need to keep, Chadli. Oh, it'll be a riot. But no, I think I keep Chadli. Lamela has shown a little bit of talent. The other player I might move out and no would be Andros Tandon. I've met Andros Tandon, lovely guy, and he's worked hard, loves the club. I mean, my Harry Kane, I think he's from Chingford way, grew up supporting the club, and now he plays for the club, and he plays with his heart and sleeve. I just think he's a similar style of player to Eric Lamela. So first of all, there's that pressure to play with Lamela because of his value. Secondly, I think Lamela can just do that a little bit more. He's got that interest in the game, which I don't think Andros Townsend has. I'm not saying he can't develop them, but he needs to be playing. And if I was him, I'd be looking to make a loan move out, protect his value. Again, I'd loan him to Hull. Or again, because I think he's settled in the UK. Obviously, he's obviously from here, and he plays alongside like I've got Livermore, Hudderston, Dawson, players he knows. That helps him settle, and he maybe hit the ground running. And Hull are a decent side. They've got rid of Ben Arthur, who's a similar kind of like calm his left foot. I don't know. I think there is space there, so that's what I do. I looked about who would bring in. I wouldn't mind bringing in Danny Ings next season. Look, I'm not saying I think he played well against us, but I wouldn't judge it on that. I saw some good attributes. He's able to turn very well and keep his balance, and was able to get a shot off. No, admittedly that was against Fazio, and obviously Fazio can't turn, hasn't got the same level of agility or the same turning ability as, say, Danny Ings. But I saw that, so that's something I think you can work on. He's a player that I think his contract's expiring, I think, at some point this year, so he'll be a lot cheaper. I think, obviously, free, basically, so there's very little risk per se. And do you know what? If he gets, say, he's on 4 goals already, so he's 4 and 14, but that's for Burnley, struggling side, they may get relegated. If he gets, say, 10 goals, or even say 12, let's say he gets 12 goals, alright, out of, say, he plays 38 games. Now that's not great, 12 and 38, but if a team that's relegated, that's pretty good, and that's basics. More than Soldado, I think he's going to get. So that's why I've gone for Danny Ings. I wouldn't go for, say, Charlie Austin. Charlie Austin's a very good player. Again, I don't see QPR going down. I think they may have turned a corner. And the other reason being is that he's 6'2", very similar style to Harry Kane. We've already got one player of that type, 6'2", powerful runner. You don't need the same kind of play. What you need is a different kind of player. And I think Ings at 5'10", slightly better, good balance, ability to turn a little better, more of a box striker. I think someone, he's got a little bit of zip about him. You may be able to improve that. But that's the kind of player I'd be tending towards. So I wouldn't bring anyone in January. I think we only play one up front. People have said horrible things about Ebola. They called him a disease. No. Ebola disease, cancer disease. To call him as an insult to diseases, because you shouldn't use. I wouldn't use that term myself. How you want to talk about it? It's up to you. I do think Adebayor is a strange one. We know his talent. Who remembers when he demolished us in that 3-1 against us? As he did, devastated our back line. And we all know that he's got ability, but he's an odd one. If his mind's not there, if he's not motivated, he struggles. I know I'm like that with my training. If I'm not motivated, I struggle to do stuff. And alright, admit I don't got 100 grand a week, motivating me to do stuff. But Adebayor again, he's an odd guy. If 100 grand a week doesn't motivate you, then I have no idea what will motivate you. But so then I would have moved him on. I think he's settled in London. If you bring someone in, we'll obviously be looking at that guy in Croatia. But he has to learn the language. He has to adapt to a different way of life. Coming from Croatia to London. Again, the lad from I know Birmingham isn't that different, but I'm not trying to compare the two. But he's settled. I think bring him in, in June. Obviously on a free to see how that goes. And he might do well. He might not. If he doesn't, we sell him on. Plus he's a homegrown as well. So that's one other reason. That's why if we are to bring 2 strikers, I wouldn't sell our 2 strikers now. I'm not saying they're happy to be on the subs bench, but that is quality that can come in and make a difference from the subs bench. They are good bodies to have on the bench. If we are looking to play Kane as our main striker, which I think we've been going for a while, he has to learn the position. I think he's more of a number 10, even though he's the size of a number 9. And I think he could play well. And I think clearly we've got a much better number 10 in Ericsson. There are moments when Kane and Ericsson, he went off, Kane went off the flank, Ericsson came in, a little bit quicker, slightly, not so quick cross maybe. Ericsson, it would have been 3-1. Again, similar thing, slightly, a little bit less less weight on the pass, change it a little bit quicker, it could be 3-1. So those should have done some very good understanding. And that's what you need your number 10 and the striker front to have, and they developed that. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this season. Do I think we can replicate it? Do I think it will happen, all those years ago and get Champions League? I doubt it. I mean, you've got a Man United side that are ridiculously strong. I mean, they're spending money like the way fish drink water. It's just ridiculous. And I mean, they can do. I mean, they've got this ridiculous kit deal which is like billions or something. So, you can't really configure those deep pockets. So I think Man United are a sure thing. West Ham, wouldn't underrate them. Obviously they're going to lose Alex Song, obviously for the African Cup of Nations. A few injuries here or there. But, their squad strength could be seriously, depleted. So, but again, I wouldn't dismiss them. Southampton, they could still be in the race. Liverpool, don't, Sturridge gets back to fitness. Who knows? I think he could do something really good for us. Good for them. Sorry, us, them. So yeah, and Arsenal, obviously you can't ever discount Arsenal. They've done it so many times, So I'm not saying we couldn't, but I don't think the answer is actually buying anyone. I think the answer would be actually moving players on, trimming that squad, so then that gives the coach and the manager and the coach a lot more time to work with those players. He thinks, they're going to be part of our team. It then frees up our wage bill a little bit, saves our costs down a little bit, and more importantly, it gives the players, look, it all goes both ways. You may be leaving now on loan, but you know what? You do a good, you three or four identify that have a good season. You go away, have a good season. You come back, who knows? You might end up, coming back. You might end up going out and killing it for us. So that's just my view on the matter. And again, like I said, we got rid of Pino that season. Well, we still finished 4th, and we missed him. But I think we've got someone like Lennon. We had some good players there. We've got Lennon. We've got Lamella. We've got Eriksen who can play there at a pinch. Chadli. I think Andros. I don't think he's going to struggle to get in there. I think Lennon. He's got a great work rate, and he offers something, that sheer speed down the flank, which as far as Kyle Walker is, I think Lennon can offer a little bit more than Andros Townsend. Paulinho, Capu, again we've got Stamboli, so I just don't see where Capu's going to come in, And again, Bentaleb, I know he wasn't put in a couple of nations, but that's only for a few games, and maybe Algeria win it, I don't know, but so I don't think it's going to be that devastating per se. We're going to lose one player. I just don't think we need to make any signings. So yeah, hopefully this is my bid to win the Tunkeys 2015-2014 award, the least knowledgeable footballer. This is my candidate, and this hopefully will put me right over the edge. So yeah, I want to thank all you guys for watching this. Sorry I think I'm a little bit too long. My apologies. But yeah, I want to say thank you for watching this. I hope you enjoy it. Please, I appreciate any feedback, and I'll give a shout out to my brother from another mother, Kevin G. Dude, I miss New York. I miss having barbecue food with you, and so that's why I got the Starbucks. Reminds you, mate. Take care, mate. Bye bye.